The clock ticked past midnight. Sarah snuggled deeper into the couch. Her eyes scanned streaming services. A horror movie called Reflections caught her eye. Intrigued, she clicked play. The opening scene unfolded. A woman sat alone in a dimly lit room. It reminded Sarah of herself. She shrugged off the feeling and focused on the movie. The movie's soundtrack was filled with eerie violins. It sent chills down Sarah's spine. She reached for her glass of water, her hand trembling slightly. Something about the film was unsettling. She couldn't quite place her finger on it. The protagonist on screen was named Sarah too. This Sarah had the same fiery red hair and emerald green eyes. Even their mannerisms were identical. Sarah felt a shiver run down her spine. This was too strange. She considered turning the movie off, but curiosity kept her glued to the screen. The movie's Sarah seemed to be living a life similar to hers. She worked as a writer just like Sarah. She even had the same coffee mug, the one with the chipped handle and faded picture of Paris. A sense of unease crept over Sarah. This felt too personal. As the movie progressed, the similarities became even more unsettling. Sarah watched in disbelief as a scene unfolded at a park. It was the same park where she used to go with her grandmother as a child. The park with the old, rusty swing set and the towering oak tree they would have picnics under. Then, the movie's Sarah received a phone call. It was from her mother, warning her about a strange man she had seen near their house. The same thing had happened to Sarah just a week ago. She felt a cold sweat prickle at her skin. This was no coincidence. This movie was mirroring her life. A new scene began. The movie's Sarah was walking home alone at night. A sense of dread washed over Sarah as she watched. This mirrored a night she had walked home alone a few months ago, a night that still gave her nightmares. In the movie, a shadowy figure appeared in the distance. The movie's Sarah quickened her pace just as Sarah herself had done. Her heart pounded in her chest. She gripped the blanket tightly. The figure in the movie moved closer, shrouded in darkness. Sarah found herself holding her breath. Section 5. Whispers in the Dark. The shadowy figure in the movie whispered something. The voice sent chills down Sarah's spine. She leaned closer, straining to hear. The figure whispered again. This time Sarah heard it clearly. Her blood ran cold. The figure whispered, "Sarah." Her name. Sarah's breath caught in her throat. She felt a presence in the room with her. Someone or something was there. She turned off the movie. The room was plunged into darkness. Only the faint glow of the streetlights outside illuminated the living room. She was not alone. Section 6. Blurred Realities. Who's there? Sarah's voice trembled. Silence. She felt a cold breath on her neck. She whipped around. Nothing. She was imagining things. It was just the movie playing tricks on her mind. She tried to rationalize her fear, but deep down a terrifying thought took root. What if the movie wasn't just a movie? What if it was a premonition? What if she was in danger? She felt a chill run down her spine. She was trapped. Section 7. A chilling message. Suddenly the television flickered back to life. The screen displayed a single message in a chilling, distorted font. "You're already gone." Sarah's eyes widened in horror. The message was gone as quickly as it had appeared. She scrambled back on the couch. She was frozen in place, her heart pounding in her chest. What did the message mean? Was she going to die? Was she already dead? Fear coiled in her stomach. She couldn't breathe. A cold hand clasped over her mouth, stifling her scream. She thrashed against the shadowy figure, but it was no use. The figure was too strong. It pulled her into the darkness. She caught a glimpse of its face. It was her. Her own face stared back at her, twisted in a grotesque mockery of a smile. "No, this can't be happening!" Sarah cried out as the figure tightened its grip. Her vision blurred. She felt herself slipping away. She was trapped in a nightmare and there was no escape. The figure forced her toward the television screen. The glass felt cold and hard against her skin. She struggled to break free, but the figure was relentless. Her reflection stared back at her, a prisoner in her own personal hell. Then, with a sickening crunch, she was pulled through. The world dissolved into a kaleidoscope of colors and static. She tumbled through a void of darkness. Sarah was lost in the abyss. When Sarah opened her eyes, she was back on her couch. The television was off. Had it all been a dream, a terrifying, vivid nightmare? She slowly got to her feet, her legs shaky. She glanced at the clock. It was just past midnight. But something was different. The room felt colder, and the silence was deafening. She was alone. Or was she? A chill ran down her spine as she heard a faint whisper. It came from behind the television screen. "You're home so soon?" a voice whispered. It was her voice. Sarah slowly turned towards the television. Her reflection stared back at her, a sinister smile playing on its lips. The reflection reached out from the screen, beckoning her closer. Sarah was trapped. Trapped in the reflection, forced to relive the same horrifying night for all eternity. And the worst part? She knew it was only a matter of time before the cycle began again. She was the protagonist now, and the ending was always the same.